What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 218 with Mikel and
And Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So today, the episode is going to be about a triple
Three
topic.
topics.
Yeah, three topics. And Tanika is going to present us with that three topics and then
Yep.
possibly more. Go ahead.
Possibly more. Yeah. So nearly 1,300 Canadians were affected by a computer breach. We'll see what that's about. Strong signal detected from space. We haven't talked about space for a little bit. And a 12-year-old girl will say unalives herself because of bullying. So we're going to be talking about this. I feel like I don't know if we really talked about this topic before, bullying, but we're going to talk about that. And the fact that this keeps happening and we're not doing enough to make it not happen. And I have a bonus. I have a bonus one too.
I have a bonus one as well. So, but yeah,
Okay.
let's go. Go ahead.
All right. So, Canada Computers and Electronics. We all heard of Canada Computers. Continues to investigate a
Yeah.
data breach. And think this was fairly recent, not too long ago. But anyways, they were dealing with data breach affecting hundreds of people that has left customers frustrated over how the company handled the episode and communicated about it. Quote, "This is something that shouldn't have happened," said Eric Pimentel, who is an IT professional who canceled a credit card after being warned by the company that he potentially been affected and was later told he was not. Toronto's Brad Seward likewise canceled a card after getting a notification from Canada Computers before he was advised that he had not been affected. My question is were they actually affected? Was there possibly a chance that they could have been affected, but they're trying to cover their ass and say, "Oh no, you're good"? Like I'm curious how there's two cases of cars could have potentially been tampered with. No, never mind. Forget it. It's fine. It's a little weird. But, quote, "It really sounds like the company is all over the place," as I just
Yeah.
said. Canada Computers told CBC News that its current investigation indicates this incident affected 1,284 customers. The Richmond Hill, Ontario headquartered retailer previously stated that um, this was back on January 22nd, so I think this was another situation or the same situation, who knows. It learned of a data breach incident involving unauthorized access to the system supporting our retail website, which left personal customer information, including credit card information, compromised. Canada Computer says it took immediate steps to contain the breach. It also notified authorities and launched an investigation, and affected customers were alerted about 3 days later. The breach has been reported to the federal privacy watchdog as well as to the police in the York region. Pimentel and Seward there are two people here who were told affected. Never mind. Um, are among half a dozen customers who told CBC News they received notification from the company about the breach and were then subsequently told that was not correct. The company confirms it sent messaging of this nature out and says it apologizes for the confusion. Quote, "This was a miscommunication," the company said. Canada Computer sent the original notice to both affected customers and to some who were not impacted. We followed up with the latter to confirm that their customer information was not affected. So, again, it could be that they're trying to cover ass, which, anything's possible.
Yeah. It
Mind you,
sounds like that's what they're trying to do.
yeah.
Yeah, at that point.
Mind you, though, that leaves them open to liability, though,
Yeah.
which would literally null and void their insurance. So that's not a good idea.
So, y so it does this happen with their website, or doesn't, like, when you
This
sign
was through
in
their
or
website, apparently.
so, okay, 'cause I do have a little bit of a membership. I just never, like, used their website or,
Yeah, I
like,
haven't really used
sign
their
in.
website myself
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Um, Well, actually, that's not true. I did use their website
Uh-huh.
once before, but that's
Mhm.
when, um, well, I got my mom her laptop, my mom got me my laptop. It's
Mhm.
a whole thing.
Mhm.
But we
Mhm.
literally got the same laptop, and we
Mm.
basically reserved the laptop. That was 2 years ago, 2, 3 years ago,
Mhm.
and it obviously would have been well before this.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the only time I ever did, and at the time, I wouldn't have used a credit card. I actually used my Flexity card at the time.
Right.
So and my Flexity card is I don't use that anymore, so it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
But again, it still leaves you exposed though to them obtaining other information.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that's really the only time that I've
Mhm.
used the website,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
We tend if we go to Canada Computers, we tend to just go to the store.
The story, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I haven't done that, but yeah, like I said, like they could have been covering us or they could have jumped the gun,
Yeah.
which I would rather a company jump the gun to notify customers, especially
Mhm.
like if
Mhm.
I'm one of those people who were affected.
Mhm.
I'd rather that. And honestly, people canceling their cards, you don't have to cancel your cards. Just get a new number. You get a new card number. You change your PIN number. That's what you should be doing. Like, it's credit cards, but that's like you call your bank and you say,
Mhm. Mhm.
I think my card's been compromised. Can I please cancel that card and can you give me a new card? It's really no
Mhm.
skin off your back.
Right.
It's a nuisance, sure, but it's
Right.
no skin off your back, really. You're not
Right, right.
shutting down the account,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, I
So,
feel like they should, get new, like, software for their, like, website, cause like, or,
yeah.
update their security when it comes to their website. But,
To give them the benefit of the doubt, but because they're not
yeah.
the only company that have had security breaches,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
like, I can think of
banks.
LifeLock
Yeah,
was one, DoorDash had one recently,
yeah.
um
A lot of banks have that, like, the
oh, yeah,
business banks, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they have a lot of, yeah.
and you're always upping your security, right?
Yes.
For cybersecurity, you're always upping
Yep.
it, but these people are so freaking smart that they
Mhm.
know how to get past the upped security,
Mhm.
so, you know, you never really know.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right, and there's a lot of people that know how, like, to hack websites and et cetera. So like yeah, they need to like you know invest into more updated software for their website. So it will keep the customers safe and when they're like purchasing stuff, etc. So yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's what they need to do.
So, yeah, the company did not say how many people had received this follow-up messaging.
Uh-huh.
Um, According to the company, the breach affected customers who checked out their purchases as guests on its website, which again is something people tend to do. I've done it
Hmm.
on other websites, but that's what you tend to do. Um, and who also entered their personal information between December 29th and January
Yeah.
22nd. So
Yep.
hopefully anyone who's been affected or possibly been affected are aware of this,
Hmm. Hmm.
but also to just I'll stay on high alert because it's happened. So there's, that's the whole point of me talking about this now.
Right.
But Menzel said he did not check out as a guest, but the
Hmm.
company's explanation has not left
Hmm.
him feeling more secure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Quote, I don't feel confident at all, adding that he expects more transparency from a retailer as big as Canada Computers. The company operates more than 30 stores across 4 provinces, in addition to its retail website.
Hmm.
It's not a small mom and pop shop in some strip mall, said Pimentel, who lives
All
in
right.
Hamilton, Ontario, within driving distance of 2 of the company's stores. Seaward simply said he did not check out as a guest when making his recent at or his purchase, I should say, at Canada Computers. And although he was told by the company he was not in the group of affected customers,
Hmm.
he said its explanation, quote, didn't coincide with my experience.
Hmm.
So, so breaches apparently can go unnoticed for months, just um as a warning to, well, everybody. And here's what
Uh-huh.
they have to say on that. So Terry Cutler, who is CEO of Montreal-based, so I think it's Seology Labs,
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
cybersecurity episodes of this nature often go unnoticed for months before they are detected. To his
Uh-huh.
point, IBM publishes an annual report on the costs associated with data breaches. In 2025, it said the global average breach life cycle, the mean time required to identify and contain a breach and then restore services, was 241 days or roughly 8 months.
Uh,
That's a long time
yeah.
not knowing what's going on with your
Yeah.
system.
Mhm.
Meanwhile,
Mhm.
customers are using us and potentially giving access to their information to the hackers in the process.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
Like I think I first signed in to kind of computers. It kind of looked kind of sketchy and like outdated in my opinion. Like,
Um,
like I
I
was like,
wouldn't say that so much, like, it's
yeah,
not
well,
their fault that their website
yeah,
looks like I don't think
yeah,
there's anything particularly wrong.
yeah,
It looks
yeah,
like a regular IT type website. That specializes in computer tech and technology.
yeah. No, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, so
understandable. It
I'm a
just
little concerned
looks,
about that.
yeah, it just looks, it just looks like something you see from like 1990, in my opinion. But
I would
like
disagree on that. I don't think
really,
any website looked like that in 1995.
no, no.
Um, I wouldn't say
Let me
that.
just
But
let
again,
me
it's
just
not about
double
how the
check.
website looks. It's not about that.
Mhm.
Um, because the nicest of websites can still be hacked. So we don't
Yeah,
wanna
yeah.
put this thing out there that, "Oh, because if a website looks sketchy, um, they're more susceptible to being hacked." No, if anything, those were the websites that may not be so much hacked because you might be surprised that their security is actually at strongest in comparison to one that's all fancy and whatever. Um, it's not about how it looks. It's kind of the whole old age
I
thing.
mean, yeah,
Don't judge a book by its cover.
you're
We
telling the
don't
truth.
know,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm just saying that like it looks kind of. I've heard like when I first got into it, it looked kind of sketchy. Now that
Well,
I look
why
at
do
it,
you
it look.
associate that with potentially being hacked, though? Because of how it looks? I wouldn't say because of how a website
At the
looks means
time,
they're
like
more
what
susceptible.
like it was like when was the last time I looked at this site? It was probably like years ago. Like it was probably like it was 5 years ago. It didn't look like
They
this,
could have changed
obviously.
their website since then,
Yeah,
for sure.
they do change the website, but it
Yeah,
just looked
'cause
kind of
when I
like
like I said, I went on the website way
yeah,
before that,
yeah.
and I
I
didn't
just haven't
think anything of it.
yeah.
Um,
I just haven't been on it in a long time, so that's why I'm looking at it right now, it looks a lot better,
yeah,
right? So, like,
but
yeah, so
again, it
yeah,
doesn't it
I understand, like, sites that look, it could always be, either hacked or, data breached or etcetera, like, don't get me wrong, it's just like, it kinda just look when I first, like, signed in or, when I first, like, went on it, it kinda looked kinda sketchy and whatever, so, like, it just, like, at the time, it was called dated. Now that I look at it, it just looks great. But yeah, go on what you were saying.
unfortunately, though, I think in this time that we're currently in, and to
Yeah,
give them the benefit of the doubt,
yeah, yeah,
we weren't like, I'm not saying that we weren't dealing with security hacks and stuff like that,
yeah,
but we just weren't dealing with it in the same degree as we currently are in this time since
uh-huh,
COVID.
uh-huh,
Um, that's when we were really seeing these data breaches and you know, the hackers hacking your system and whatever.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
Like, my company didn't start implementing, you know, security, like certain protections for the company until COVID happened because
mhm.
you are more susceptible. We definitely get a lot more phishing type emails and
Oh,
spamming
yeah.
type emails
Yep,
and stuff like
yep,
that. We get more of those nowadays than we ever did prior to COVID.
mhm,
The times that we're in today, post COVID,
mhm.
is so much more different than it was pre COVID or even in the beginning stages of COVID.
Yeah,
Um, so
I
yeah,
agree.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. So again, I'm sure the company was implementing these security, putting in security to protect everything.
Mhm.
Um,
Now they
and
have to, like
it's not always enough.
yeah,
And hackers aren't like hackers, there are obviously hackers that are going in and being like, give me $1 million or
yeah,
exposing everything, right?
yeah,
But that's not the traditional hacker. Um, that's that's what we see in the movies or
yes,
Action
yeah.
Madison.
They usually either sell your data or what
Yes, that
that
is what
will
they're
happen.
doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're going to
yeah,
target these types of companies like Canada
yeah.
Computers or Staples
Mhm,
or
mhm,
whatever else,
mhm,
because they're trying to get your data. Like Life Labs had the same situation happen. This was a
mhm,
few years back. But they
mhm,
had the same situation happen to them. And even more so, I feel is even more vulnerable. The data that Life Labs has versus Canada Computers. You now would have my OHIP number. You have my full name, first, middle, last.
mhm.
You have my age. You have my birthday. You have all of that information.
Yeah,
Versus Canada Computers, you're just kind of hoping that the most that they'll have is a credit card number. And maybe you'll have my
true.
name, then maybe you'll have my address, you'll have that
Mhm,
information, but you're not
mhm.
gonna have identifying, hopefully, identifying information where you can literally clone me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
it
Yeah, yeah. I haven't like the only I hear like a lot of like banks getting data breach. I just haven't heard a lot of when it comes to like the government websites like Canada, like Canada.ca. Like I
mm,
haven't heard they got data breach or
ugh,
whatever.
if
Maybe
if
the
this
government
if
invests into
the
you know.
government were to be hacked, or let's say CRA were to be hacked,
Yeah,
oh my god.
yeah,
But here's the problem though, CRA
yeah,
does have moments,
yeah,
mainly during tax season.
yeah.
It's not so much that they're being the ones that are being breached, they're not, but it's
Mhm,
that's the time where hackers are going in and trying to, like, bait you into
mhm.
opening an email, giving me your information,
Oh yeah,
right?
scammers. Yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
happening during that
I
time.
feel I feel like there's a difference between scammers and hackers in a lot of ways. Hackers know what they're doing. Scammers, I feel like they know what they're doing, but I don't know. I feel like
They
it's
all know
just
what they're
2 different.
doing. They
There's
all
2
know what they're
different
doing.
ones. I feel like
It's
there's
just
2
different
different
levels of
versions.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all
Mhm.
fraud at the end of the day. So,
Yeah, yeah. Unless you're doing it for good. Like if it could be a good thing that you're
there are
doing.
hackers that use their
Yeah,
skill for good,
yeah,
There is,
yeah,
like, the Penelope Cruises
yeah,
from Bruno Mines that,
yeah,
there are those people in
yeah.
the world.
Anti-heroes.
Um,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
there's not many. There's not many who are willing
Yeah,
to use
yeah,
that gift
yeah,
for good, though.
yeah,
So,
yeah, so, yeah,
um, but John Brigman, who's a Cincinnati, Ohio-based
mm,
cybersecurity professional with
mhm,
Onyx,
mhm,
said there's been suggestion online that customers may have helped bring the problem to the attention of Canada Computers, which could explain why the window of time the company is citing is relatively short.
mm,
Bergman noted that the company's description of the incident suggests its website has a branch that deals with guest checkouts that is distinct from purchases made by users with dedicated accounts. But
right,
both he and Cutler say people making purchases as a guest are probably doing so for practical reasons.
mhm,
Bergman says he normally decides whether to check out as a guest based on whether he wants to have further communication with the company. As for the bigger picture, Cutler said stolen data can have a long shelf life, as cyber criminals can get to it weeks, months, and years later.
yeah,
And that's the scary part.
yeah,
To that end, Canada Computers says it has provided guidance to affected customers on protecting their personal and financial information and offering them 2 years of credit monitoring and identity theft protection, which is the standard in this country.
true,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
true, yeah, this is not gonna be like the last time it will happen. It'll probably happen numerous of times in the near future in terms of these website, unless they beef up their, security on their website, but,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it happened to my bank as well. I still trust them. They handle it
Yeah, it
quickly and
happens.
swiftly, and it's not
Yeah,
like
I'm
I
not
want to
gonna stop
leave and
going to Life
y-
Labs because they had
yeah,
a
yeah,
breach, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's not, yeah. If they
If
they
it's a
tell you, yeah,
constant thing,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
one thing,
Yeah,
but
that's if it's a constant thing. Then maybe I look into it, and be like, maybe it's time to switch and look for something else, or take a break or back away from the internet for a bit. But
mhm.
otherwise than that, no, nah, nah. If it happened one time and and they just email you and tell you that they're handling it swiftly, safely, and etc., then you know, then they're taking it serious. So, um, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alright, guys, let's move on to space for a little bit because
Mm,
it's easier up there, I think, I feel. I don't know. But anyways,
mhm.
gamma ray bursts are intense sources of high energy radiation that scientists detect on Earth in the form of gamma rays.
And we're not talking about the Hulk.
I am not talking about the Hulk, no.
So,
Hulk smashed.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah, gamma.
they
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
They were first detected in the 1960s by US military satellites looking for nuclear detonations on Earth,
Mm,
which
mhm,
saw bright bursts of gamma rays coming from the sky.
mhm,
They didn't know what they were, but that was how the term was coined. It wasn't
mhm,
until much later that astronomers began to understand the physical processes that might cause them. So,
mhm,
in 2025, astronomers detected a blast from space that lasted 7 hours, known as GRB gamma ray burst 250702b.
mhm.
Now they're uncovering the strange processes behind the exceptional outburst. Eliza Knights is a researcher at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, where she studies the physics behind gamma ray bursts.
Right.
The people who did this article, they spoke to her to find out more about the incredible signal and what it could be causing or what could be causing it. So
Right.
primarily, they use wide field high energy monitoring, typically with space telescopes that see a very large part of the sky at a time. They scan everything at once and pick up anything that looks like a bright pulse compared to the background noise. Um, So this is called Burst Advocate for the Gamma Ray Burst Monitor on NASA's Fermi Space Telescope. That
Mm,
means they will take 6 or so shifts a month, and anytime the telescope sees something that looks like a bright flash of gamma rays, it automatically sends the data to whoever's on duty. And then it's
mm,
up to them to determine the nature of the event and alert the scientific community.
mm,
So, what did they discover? So, this particular person they're speaking with, they were on duty at the time. The instrument detected its very unusual pattern. Three gamma ray bursts that appeared to be coming from the same place in the sky. That feels like a burst. I don't know.
mm, mm,
So, it's the longest lasting GRB ever. So, this is the GRB 250702b for which we are talking. So it's the longest lasting one ever recorded. By combining data from five high energy telescopes, they figured out that it lasted around 7 hours or 25,000 seconds.
mm.
That's an extreme duration, I would say.
Right.
For context, average GRBs last no more than several minutes, and the last record holder was around 15,000 seconds. I don't know what that would be per minute, but whatever. A lot.
Mm,
GRB
mm,
250702b's duration cannot be explained by the known origins of GRBs.
mhm,
It needs a novel physical explanation. So I think no, I don't think we talked about what causes them. So this is what causes the gamma rays. So there are two processes that are known to lead to GRBs. Most originate from the collapse of a rapidly rotating massive star. These stars collapse into compact objects, probably black holes, anybody? Yikes, I don't like that. Which form powerful jets. Great. They detect these jets as gamma ray bursts when they happen to point towards, I guess, Earth. Some other GRBs occur when two neutron stars, very dense stellar remnants, are orbiting each other and then merge.
Mm,
Whole thing that burst. Once again, a compact object forms that produces jets which they can detect. So, in terms of what maybe something else could have caused this particular GRB that lasted
mm,
a long time, it's most naturally explained by a helium merger. This is where you have a black hole with a mass about that of a star, and it's in orbit with a helium star. So it kind of feels like they're merging the two different s- scenarios for what can cause a GRB. That is like something forming a black hole, and then also it's rotating around another object that it's combining with. That's kinda what it sounds like could have happened in this particular case.
mm,
These stars have had their outer layers of hydrogen stripped away, leaving a dense core of helium, and they're thought to go through phases of expansion.
mhm,
When they expand, the orbiting black hole will end up inside the stellar envelope and consume the star rapidly. Suddenly, you have all of this angular momentum being transferred into the black hole, which can give rise to a jet which lasts a long time. Um, so they may be less common than other GRB progenitors, but
mhm,
also
mhm,
GRBs with extreme durations are harder to spot for telescopes that are looking for short, bright signals. They're also dimmer, which limits the distance that they can detect them.
mm,
Um, so I will kind of skip over that. But yeah, that's basically the gamma ray bursts, and maybe you can associate that with Hulk smash because it's like smash and
yeah,
poof. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, done space for a
Uh,
while, so I figured, let's do some space.
okay. So I do have something. You heard about the Toronto festival, right?
The Toronto
The shoot,
Festival? Which
the
festival?
shooting that the shooting that happened. The so it said I was saying basically the Toronto uh festival, the Latino culture in Toronto. Uh, you haven't heard about that, right?
I don't think so. Was this
Oh,
recent?
it was recent. Yeah, I thought you would have heard something about that. Like it was all over. Well, it was all over the news. So like
Hmm.
basically, uh, obviously this happened in Toronto, St. Clair,
Okay.
festival, the celebration of Latino culture. So two dead. That's what happened, and six injured in this festival.
When did
And
this happen?
this happened. I think it happened a few days ago.
Oh. Well, I thought there was
When
like
just
another incident, but it wasn't just a few days ago. It was like a few weeks back, but I don't remember if it was a shooting or what happened. So no, I
yeah.
hadn't heard about this.
So I heard Olivia Child, the mayor of Toronto,
Mhm.
talking about this, and she was not happy. She was
No, of course not.
basically, yeah.
Nothing to be happy about.
I'm trying to look for the date, the actual date, right? But it doesn't confirm here on NBC News. It just says two people were killed and six others were injured when a pair of gunmen opened fire at a festival uh, celebrating Latino culture in Toronto on Saturday. Police said the two men were pronounced dead at the scene, while five others suffered gunshot wounds and another was hospitalized with unspecified injuries. Following the gunfire in the area of the St. Clair and Arlington Avenue during the salsa on St. Clair's festival, Toronto police said. Uh, and then, quote here, there seemed to be an exchange of gunfire. between individuals targeting each other, which is basically senseless gunfire. Uh, Frank, if I'm pronouncing this wrong, uh, Bar Rideau, Toronto Police Service Deputy Chief said during a news conference, four of the wounded were hospitalized with serious injuries. The deputy's chief officer said it wasn't clear whether the gunmen were among the dead or injured, or nor could police say late Saturday whether any shooter was still being sought. Um, I'm just trying to. There's more down here. Uh, the shooting were reported around 8:12 p.m., said the officer, and estimated 13,000 people were taking part in the festival, he said. Two guns were recovered, and investigators were focused on three different crime scenes. The chief said, adding that the investigations would be complex. And then, Mayor Olivia Chow expressed anger. Obviously, I mentioned that earlier, over the violence, and especially because the festival attracted children and family.
Mhm.
She said, I'm deeply disturbed and angry about this reckless, irresponsible act of violence right in the middle of a festival. She said at the news conference. One witness, Pamela Garcia, told Toronto news outlet CP24 that she heard three gunshots and saw people in the crowd run and scream. Another witness, JC Lynn, if I'm saying her first name right, uh, recalled being at the festival social stage and seeing everyone suddenly run towards it before police arrived. The music stopped and people began leaving. She said, I was walking from here and there. It was like a yellow tape, and I saw a bunch of paramedics coming down with a man, and they were just doing CPR, Lynn said. And he had like an oxygen tank and everything, and he didn't look well. The salsa on St. Clair is an annual 2-day festival celebrating Latino culture with music, dance, food, and art. It started Saturday and was set to run through Sunday, Toronto, St. Clair Avenue. This year's celebration was the festival 22nd year. So yeah, it happened a couple days ago. So
Yeah,
yeah.
this feels very, like, it just kinda feels like the perpetrator who did this, which I'm gonna assume they don't know who did this, that he got
Mhm.
away. It feels like this is very, I mean, obviously targeted, but,
Yeah.
feels very political. It feels very,
You think so?
a little bit. In the time that we are currently in, and you do have people who, you know, side with MAGA, it just makes you wonder
Mhm.
why this festival, why these people,
Uh-huh.
why in this day
Uh-huh.
and age. Obviously, we are fairly far removed from what is going on in the States, but we're not that far removed at the
Hmm.
same time, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So
It could
it just makes me wonder. That's all.
it could be also senseless, like,
It could be, well, yes,
gang
yes.
members trying to
But
like
let's
to
but let's
target
bring up,
somebody. Right.
this is not gang member type stuff.
Mhm.
Doing a mass shooting at
Mhm.
like this is not a
Mhm.
gang member type thing. This isn't
Right.
gang member type initiation.
Mhm.
Usually, if it's a gang type killing,
Mhm.
um, it's it's because you're targeting one person. You're usually gonna target one person, but you're not gonna do
Mhm.
that at a festival. This doesn't feel like that.
Mm.
This feels like a person who either hates life or hates a certain group of people or hates himself or all three,
Mm.
targeting people at a festival.
Right.
You very rarely have these mass shooters who don't have some form of a motive.
Mhm.
And it could be just as simple as there's a big group of people.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think I think at the very least, this is a person who just wanted to kill a bunch of people, but usually, like I said, senseless type stuff like this,
Mhm.
there's usually some form of a reason. Like, if we
Right.
look back at, like, um, when that guy in North Toronto was, or like I should say Uptown Toronto, was, driving into people on
Yeah, the guy in the van. The guy is it was he in the
yeah,
van or the car?
he was in a van.
Van, okay. Yeah.
Um, it's was senseless, absolutely,
Mhm.
and he killed a lot
Mhm.
of people, but
Mhm.
he had a reason. His reason was he was bullied. People didn't like him. People don't wanna have sex with him.
Wow.
You might think that's crazy, but that's his reason. No matter how crazy the motive is behind why a person does things like this,
Mhm.
there is
Mhm.
a motive.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
whatever the
I
reason is, there is always
mhm.
a reason why people do
Mhm.
this.
Yeah, that's just sad if that was his if it
Yeah,
if
it
if
was in a news article back
yeah, that's
when that
sad.
was happening. It is,
Um,
because it's
um,
like, I wanna take people out because I am
yeah,
inadequate, but,
yeah.
like, then I mean, I hate to go there, especially with the next topic we're gonna go into, but then, like,
Mhm.
unalive yourself then.
Mhm.
Don't bring other people into your because
Yeah.
we don't know your existence.
Mhm.
Sorry about it, like, you're
Mhm.
insignificant.
Mhm.
And, again, like, the effect that that event had on Torontonians and just Toronto in general, um, they still barricade. They still put, like, those, barricades up on sidewalks in some areas
Mhm.
because
Mhm. Mhm.
even though it's been like, when that happened, I had just started my job, so it was, yeah, almost a decade ago now,
Right, right.
and we are still feeling it.
Mhm.
We're still feeling the after effects of that, and again, as far as stupid as it is, there's always a
Mhm.
reason. We
Yeah.
just don't know what
Yeah.
these people's reasons are because they haven't been caught,
Yeah.
and I
It,
don't know, hopefully they will be,
yeah. Well,
but
yeah,
it's
we'll give you guys an update on that. Yeah, this is
yeah.
just yeah, just this is just sad and
It's it's
frustrating.
it's a little nerve-wracking when
Mhm.
people c complete their mission and they get to walk away from it because it
Mhm.
doesn't happen very often.
Mhm.
Usually either they are shot by police or they kill themselves or they are
Mhm.
captured.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and the fact that these people have not been captured, because like the last situation that happened, I think it was in BC,
Mhm.
um, they caught those people too, like after it happened. There was a
Right.
situation actually not too long ago. Maybe this is what I'm actually getting it confused by. Um, but my mom had told me, I think this was around Canada Day, I believe, or maybe a little before or a little after,
Mhm.
that there were people in a mall parking lot setting off fireworks out of their car, aiming it at other people. Those fuckers, I think, weren't caught either. They
Yeah.
were, like, only, like, couple of them were, but they were still looking for the others. I can't remember the whole details now.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like this in America as well. Like there was people who were doing that, like, and I think it was last year and Independence
Yeah.
Day. I wonder if those same people were copying,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so
it's not like it's original. It's not like
yeah.
even those 2 incidences are the only ones like it.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't necessarily consider those copycats, but it's just, like, one idea and it just trickle
Yeah.
down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
It's yeah, it's ridiculous. And yeah, hopefully the people who, did shouldn't get caught, and hope the people, the families get their justice as well.
Yeah,
And yeah, yeah. So sad,
it
and
is.
yeah, what like I said, we'll give you guys an update as soon as possible. So yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. And again, we're just going into more sadness. Sorry, guys. But a 9-year-old's goodbye, and yes, you heard me correct, a
Mhm,
9-year-old,
mhm,
echoed through a memorial service back in January as she told her older sister that she loved her. Quote, "Fly high, my angel," is what I believe her sister said. So Lexi Blackwood was 12 years old when she took her own life. So sorry. So the sister who is still alive is 9 years old. The sister who unalived herself is 12, and that's Lexi. Her father, Ryan Marshall, says Lexi was once confident and outgoing, but that began to change when she entered middle school. Quote,
mhm,
"She was so confident until she started facing harassment and bullying on a daily basis. It basically chipped away her confidence until it was very well zero, and here we are today."
uh-huh,
According to her family, Lexi confided in her parents last October
uh-huh,
about ongoing verbal harassment, including comments targeting her appearance.
right,
Marshall says the bullying often came from students Lexi didn't even know.
mm,
Quote, "No one she knew in her classroom. She didn't even know these people, constantly putting her down, calling her names."
mm,
The family said they contacted the school for help, but were instead referred to a youth counseling center. The question why the focus was placed on Lexi's mental health rather than addressing the alleged bullying, we'll never know. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. I'll have my thoughts, but let's just go
mhm,
through this.
mm, mhm,
In a statement, Central Okanagan
mm,
Public Schools
mhm,
extended its sympathy to the family as they cope with what it called an unimaginable loss. The district said it cannot comment on the particulars of this case and that it follows a provincial safety education framework.
mhm,
Marshall, the father, says the family felt Lexi's experience was not taken seriously enough.
mhm,
Her grandfather, Dwight Blackwood, says some steps were taken, but they didn't address the root of the problem. Quote, they had a they had a monitor in the hall for a few days, but our little Lexi wasn't even in the hallway anyway. They let her out 5 minutes early so she could avoid the crowds. Marshall says the situation became so severe that Lexi missed 2 weeks of school. When she returned, he says communication from the school was minimal. Now, the family is calling for a systematic change, including more proactive mental health resources and regular wellness checks rather than relying on students to reach out on their own. Quote, "We're hoping for change in the school board, more direct resources, not just 2 or 3 options that are completely reliant on the student to reach out themselves." For the family, sharing Lexi's story is about preventing another loss. Quote, "If we can stop one other family from going through this, that's our
mhm,
goal." And here's the thing. Unfortunately, as much as we can tell children, this is going to pass, this is going to last forever, it feels so bad now and it's so overwhelming because at 12 years old, there's only so much you can put on your shoulders, right? To the point where you're just going to break.
mm,
And this is where parents, which these parents seem to be very proactive, and
mhm,
obviously she also felt very comfortable to go to her parents and say, "This is what's happening to me." So kudos to them.
mhm,
But this is reliant on the parents, the school, supporting this girl and other children like her to make sure that these things do not happen. The fact that we have kids today taking their lives younger and younger and younger
mhm,
and nothing happening
right,
pisses me off. Listen, we all deal with bullying. I've been
mhm,
bullied.
mhm,
I'm sure Mikel, you've been bullied.
yeah,
We've all been bullied.
mhm,
And some of us can handle that more than others.
mhm,
And some of us can look back at that and be like, ugh, whatever. I've had a pretty traumatic experience in high school to the point where, yeah, I didn't wanna go to school either. Um, and again, some of it at the hands of people I considered my friends. And I had to go through a very tough year. Grade 10 was the year. I had to go through a really tough year, and I wanted it to stop and go away. Not saying that I was suicidal or anything like that, but I don't want it to stop. And at least I can look back to some extent and see that my school made an effort. Our school
Mhm,
made an effort to try and deal with the situation. But I was 15. I was in high school, 15, 16. I was in high school. And, I don't know if it's the word is better equipped in high school as a school to deal with this type of stuff. But when we're dealing with 12-year-olds and kids are freaking mean, we know
mhm.
this. We've been saying this for years. Kids are mean. But kids' words can actually kill. And we have been talking about reform for bullying, I feel like, for years, since I was still in school, and yet nothing's been done. I feel like kids who bully need to be held accountable. Those kids, those parents to those
Mhm,
kids need
mhm.
to be held accountable. The
I agree.
school
Yeah.
needs to be held accountable. The
Mhm,
school board needs to be held accountable.
mhm,
And I speak from like I'm saying they should be held accountable criminally, but that's, not always an easy thing to establish, especially when there isn't proper laws around that.
mhm,
But civilly, hell, like, I without going into the details, we've
mhm, mhm.
taken on files like that where kids have been bullied in horrible, horrible ways, and we're suing every freaking person that you can think of.
Yeah.
Again, like I said,
Mhm,
down to the school boards.
mhm,
And you bring everyone in and you sue the hell out of them. Nothing is going to change until everyone starts screaming from the rooftops and making change happen. It's this just should not be happening. A little girl should not be taking her life, and a family should not have to bury their daughter, their sister, and always have to wonder for the rest of their lives what their daughter would have become, what she would have done for her life. It's not fair.
mm,
These kids. Seriously.
mhm.
I don't care. These kids. We don't watch Mean Girls and think, "Oh, that's cool." No, it's a goddamn movie. We gotta do better. We gotta do better.
Yeah.
'Cause I'll be damned. If my child is a bully or if my child is being bullied, I'll be damned. I'll go to prison. I
Yeah,
will
for
go to
my
prison to make
yeah.
sure my child is not going to hurt themselves. Because I'm a beat your parent up. That's what I'm gonna do. Get your child in check. And I'm not saying that all kids are innocent. No, no, no. Like I was snarky. I didn't care about what people thought or felt about me and stuff like that. I was lonely in high school. I'll say that, but I was never unapproachable. I was never like, oh, look at you, ew, gross. Like I never did that. You cross me, I will come for you, but that was different in my book. You had to kind of protect yourself. And that's something I mean, if I think back on myself at 12 years old, like, I didn't have
Mhm,
that. I didn't have that confidence yet. You build upon it. Um, I just didn't get the chance to do that, and it's really sad. Anyways, um,
mm.
so that's that story.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said, yeah, and then there's nothing to add on that, so, yeah,
yeah,
pretty
I
much.
have one more, and then we'll be done.
Mhm,
So I've never had the opportunity to experience this airline. From what I understood, I never wanted to. But guess what, guys? We never will. Because Spirit Airlines has shut down immediately, canceling all of their flights. And this happened back in May. But I saw this and I'm like, this is fantastic. Let's talk about it.
Mhm,
So, low cost Spirit Airlines announced that it would shut down its operations immediately after 34 years in business, leaving thousands of passengers scrambling to rebook their travel in other airlines. The company, which operated hundreds of daily flights across the US and employed 17,000 people, had been in discussions with the Trump administration about a $500 million rescue package, but no deal was reached. Unfortunate. But the effort has stalled because Spirit has been unable to secure the necessary backing from bondholders and government stakeholders. People familiar with the matter told the Wall Street Journal. The airline said on its website that all flights have been canceled and customer service is no longer available. So they ain't nothing you can do about it. We're proud, quote, we are proud of the impact of our ultra low cost model on the industry over the last 34 years and had hoped to serve our guests for many years to come, as was said in the announcement. The company advised customers that they could expect refunds, but there would be no help in booking travel on other airlines. Several airlines are offering capped ticket prices for the Spirit customers who now need to rebook canceled flights. Transportation Security Sean Duffy said. Duffy told the press in a press conference at Newark Liberty International Airport
mhm,
that the Trump administration had made, quote, a significant effort to try and keep the airline afloat. Ain't that a surprise?
mm,
Quote, there was a number of ideas being floated on how the government could step in and be helpful to Spirit Airlines. Really? The
mm,
government wants to help Spirit Airlines. How about we release the Epstein files? I digress. The president was like a dog on a bone, trying to figure out a way to keep Spirit afloat. Ugh, I hate him. Thousands
mm,
of Spirit passengers must now scramble to find seats on other flights or make other travel arrangements. In its announcement, Spirit told passengers it could not help them rebook their travel, as we said before, on another airline, but would automatically issue a refund to those who had bought through the company with a credit or debit card. So at least there's that. Passengers who booked flights via a travel agent should contact the travel agent directly to request a refund. United, Delta, JetBlue, and Southwest will cap their ticket prices or had at the time capped their ticket prices. Maybe they still will be for Spirit customers trying to rebook their flights. Passengers will be asked to provide their Spirit confirmation number and proof of payment. So make sure you still have that.
mm,
Quote, for any consumers worried about higher prices, American Airlines and Delta Airlines are offering reduced fares on high volume Spirit routes. Allegiant has also committed to freezing fare prices across routes that overlap with Spirit. To support impacted travelers, Frontier is offering up to 50% off base fares across its network until May 10th. Sorry who missed the boat. He also said that other carriers would help Spirit pilots and flight attendants return to their home cities. Maybe even help them get a job. But again,
mm,
in a statement, he said travelers could check with their credit card company or travel insurance policy about refunds. Spirit flight attendants will have their hotels and airfare covered as they travel back to their homes or bases, according to the Association of Flight Attendants. Quote, while the country has had a blast making Spirit the butt of the joke, really, we've built a strength together that could withstand anything that anyone throws at us. But wait a whole second. You just said here that we've built a strength together that could withstand anything, but
mhm,
you're closing down. So you clearly couldn't withstand everything. Just saying. Anyways, they continue to say, that is no joke. This has been the honor of our life to fly with all of you, and we are with you now. Spirit is in our blood, and that makes us family. Trump had floated the idea of a bailout the week prior after the airline found itself in bankruptcy proceedings for the second time in less than 2 years, with jet fuel prices soaring because of the Iran war. So again, I don't want to get political and I don't
mm,
want to talk about this man,
mhm,
but this is the same administration that basically caused Spirit to have to close their doors because the fuel costs were too high due to a war said administration entered
Mhm.
into when they shouldn't have. Makes
Mhm.
sense. Makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, President Donald Trump had said that we're looking at it. No, you're not. Just like you kept saying the war's almost over. Sure, sure, sure. And had given the budget carrier a final proposal for a taxpayer funded takeover. Spirit has struggled financially since the COVID-19 pandemic, as I'm sure many airlines have,
Mhm.
weighed down by rising operating costs and growing debt. By the time it filed for Chapter 11 protection in November 2024, again filing for bankruptcy, Spirit had lost more than $2.5 billion since the start of 2020.
Right.
That's a lot. The budget carrier sought bankruptcy protection again in August 2025 when it
Mhm.
reported having a $8.1 billion in debt and $8.6 billion in assets, according to court filings. Supporters of a rescue, including labor unions representing Spirit's pilots, flight attendants, and ramp workers, said a collapse would put thousands of Americans out of work and hurt consumers by reducing airline competition and increasing airfares. About
Mhm.
17,000 jobs could be impacted, which clearly it was, according to Spirit lawyer Marshall, I think it's Huebner. Budget
Mhm.
conscious and leisure travelers would likely feel Spirit's absence the most. Especially, well, I think the people working for them are going to feel it the most. But, anyways,
Mhm. Mhm.
especially in places where the airline has a big footprint, such as Las Vegas and the Florida cities of Fort Lauderdale and Orlando.
Mhm.
The carrier flew about 1.7 million domestic passengers in February, roughly 500,000 fewer than during the same month a year earlier, according to aviation and analytics firm Cirium. Spirit also has sharply reduced its capacity with about half as many seats available back in May of 2024. And that is basically that article. Rest in peace to Spirit Airlines. I didn't get to know you, nor did I think I wanted to, but I've
Right.
definitely heard so much about you. Sad to
Mm.
see you go. Anyways,
Mhm.
that is that.
Yeah. I have no comment on that. Just waiting for 2020 to roll around for for presidency. So that's it. Yeah. All
I
right.
don't want to
Okay.
talk about it. It's still too far away.
Yeah.
So,
um. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's this episode. The next day podcast. Yeah.
yeah, we'll be back on Thursday, I believe. I think.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think Thursday. Whichever.
Okay. All right. Peace,
Okay.
guys.
Bye. If you liked what you heard with our podcast, you can head on over to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. There you can get any of the links to any of our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Take Pod. You can also find links to our Reddit page and many other things, I'm sure. Can't remember all the top of my head. You can also email us at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. There you can send us any inquiries that you have, any questions, or also any episode ideas. And if you do have episode ideas, just make sure you put in the subject line episode ideas, and we'll add it to our list. If you also liked us, you can like us, rate us, follow us on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can rate us, however, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll also move forward and share or spot a light on those who give us 5-star ratings in the future. That is it for us. We'll see you next time for the episode.